This is Sir Alex, and during my last videos, I was discussing about fractions, decimals, integers, hierarchy of operations, and those topics belong to a branch of mathematics we call arithmetic. Okay, now I'm going to discuss a combination of numbers and variables that belong to another branch of mathematics we call as algebra. Alright, you ready? Okay, let's start. Let's discuss first the important concepts in algebra. First of all, what is algebra? Okay, it's a branch of mathematics that uses letters and other symbols to represent numbers and quantities in formulas and equations, right? And then, what's a constant? A constant is a term having a fixed numerical value. Okay, these are constants. 3, 1.2, 4/5. Okay, so these are examples of constants. They have a fixed value. Okay, then we have a variable. What's a variable? It's a term that may or may not represent a numerical value. It uses the English alphabet to represent itself. Okay, examples. X, that's the most commonly used variable. X, Y, and some familiar alphabets like A, B, C. Okay, sometimes it uses Greek letters like theta. Theta represents angles. Okay, what else? Alpha. Okay, beta, and so on. Okay, so those are what we call as variables. They may or may not represent values. Next, term. So a term is a number, a letter, or a combination of both. All right? So these are examples of terms. Okay. So we have 3x, okay, 4x squared, negative 5/3xy. Okay, so those are terms. Okay, now expression, what is that? It's a combination of two or more terms connected by the fundamental operations plus and minus, or a combination of plus and minus. If I make it 3x minus 4, that becomes an expression. Okay, 4x squared plus 6x plus 1, that's also an expression. If you use a minus or a plus sign, okay, connecting two terms or more, then it becomes an expression. All right? What's an equation? An equation is a combination of expressions using an equal sign. If I write 3x plus 5 equals 2x minus 6, both of these are expressions. If I combine them and I joined an equal sign, then it becomes an equation. Okay, 6x minus 3 equals 4, that's also an equation. Expression, term, equation. Expression, expression, the whole thing is an equation. All right? Then, what's a coefficient? A coefficient is a cofactor in a term. It can be numerical or literal. All right? These are examples of coefficients. If I write 4x, okay, I can say that 4 is the numerical coefficient of x. Or I can say x is the literal Okay, coefficient of 4. Numerical coefficient, literal coefficient. The term 4 and x are called factors. All right? Another example. Negative, let's say negative 6y. There. Okay. Negative 6 is the numerical coefficient. Y is the literal coefficient. So it's very simple to understand, right? Numerical means numbers, letters, literal. All right? What's next after this? We'll discuss types of algebraic expressions. Okay, so I can erase this. There. All right. So now we're now dealing with types of algebraic expressions. Okay. Now, one word comes into our minds, and that is the word polynomial. A polynomial may be a monomial, okay, can be a binomial, can be a trinomial, or can be a multinomial. But what makes a polynomial a polynomial? How can you distinguish if it's a polynomial or not a polynomial? Okay, here are the conditions. Okay, number one, an expression, okay, an expression or term is a polynomial if, number one, okay, there is no, let's say, negative exponent on the variable. For example, 3x is a polynomial. But if I write 3x raised to negative 2, this is not a polynomial anymore. Okay, so one condition to be polynomial, there should be no negative exponent, like that one. Okay, second, there is no radical exponent on the variable. Okay, now 3x raised to, let's say, square root of 5 is not a polynomial if the variable is raised to a radical number. Now, for numeric coefficients, it doesn't matter. Okay, if let's say 3 is raised to negative 5, then x, that is a polynomial. Okay, so we are concerned with the variable, not with a constant. Okay, constant can be anything. For example, 4 raised to square root of 10, for example. And then I'll put here xy. That is a polynomial. Okay, as long as the variables are not raised to a negative exponent or a radical exponent. Okay, so that's condition number 2. Now let's go to condition number 3. There. Now, if the variable is not used as a denominator. That's another um, definition of a polynomial. 4x is a polynomial, but 4 over x, it's not. Okay? Once the variable is used as a denominator, then it is not a polynomial. All right? Last one. Okay. If the exponent of the variable is not, a fraction. Okay. If x is raised to 5, it's okay, that's a polynomial. But if I raise x to 3/5, or if I raise x to negative 1/2, then this is not a polynomial. All right? So these are the definitions of a polynomial. Number one, the variable should not be raised to a negative exponent, to a fractional exponent, to a radical number. And the variable should not be used as a denominator. Okay, so our concern here is purely the variable, not the constant. Okay? Now, assuming that we already know what a polynomial is, we can now define the types of, let's replace this, because algebraic expressions is, they are common terms. You know? For example, these are algebraic expressions. Okay, 4 over x plus 3 over y. There. It's a general term, which means a polynomial is a specific algebraic expression. Okay? So let's make it specific. Polynomials. Number one, monomials. Okay? The term mono means one term. Okay? Example. Three x, 5xy, negative 2x squared y. These are examples of monomials. Okay? They only involve one term. Second type, we have the binomials. So binomials means two terms. Okay? And what are examples? 3x minus 1, 5xy minus 2x, negative 2x squared y plus 3x. If you have two terms separated by a plus or a minus, it becomes a binomial. Okay. Number 3, trinomial. Three terms. Okay? So if I add, let's say, 5x squared minus 3x plus 4, or 6x plus y minus z, okay, those are examples of trinomials. Again, you have three terms here separated by a plus or a minus. It becomes a trinomial. Okay. The last type is what we call as the multinomial. Okay. More than three terms. All right. If the expression consists of more than three terms, then we can call them multinomial. 5x plus 3 minus 2y plus let's say 4x squared, that's a multinomial. A plus B minus C plus D minus E plus F, multinomial. Okay. 4 terms or more, multi. 3 terms, trinomial. 2 terms, binomial. And 1 term, monomial. Okay. Let's have some examples. Okay. 1. 4x squared plus 3x minus 2. 3. Algebra. 5x minus 4. 2 times 3x plus 1. Okay. And then 6, negative 6x, x plus 5 squared. Okay, how do you classify this? 1, 2, 3, 3 terms, trinomial. Number 2, 3, algebra. Do you see a plus or minus there? Nope. So it's considered as monomial. Remember, to determine if it's a trinomial or monomial or binomial or multinomial, you have to look for the operations, the mathematical operations, plus or minus. Okay, 5x minus 4. It's a binomial. And then 2 times 3x plus 1. What do you think? It's a monomial. Look at this. It has a plus sign, so you think it's a binomial. Well, it's not. There's a parenthesis there that prevents it from being a monomial. So, from being a binomial. So when you multiply 2 with this term, the whole term is called a monomial. Now, what if you remove the parenthesis sign? Let's make it okay. Distribute the 2 here. So it's 6x plus 2. Without the parenthesis, then this now becomes a binomial. All right? Monomial, binomial. And this one is also a monomial. It's only one term, mainly because of the parenthesis symbol. Okay? But if you, let's say, multiply this by itself, x plus 5 times x plus 5, and then multiply by 6x, then it's no longer a monomial. When you remove the parenthesis, then it becomes another type of algebraic expressions. All right? There. So I hope it's very clear. All right? Now, so far, I discussed only algebraic concepts. Okay? Now, in my next video, we will discuss how to represent English statements into mathematical statements. All right? How we add, subtract, multiply, and divide algebraic expressions. Okay? We'll also discuss how to solve word problems. These are very important discussions in our topics. Okay? What else? In the future videos, maybe we'll take up radicals, we'll take up, let's say, exponents, and there's so many things, arithmetic expressions, geometric expressions. All those topics are in the branch of science or branch of mathematics we call as algebra. Okay? So don't forget, like and subscribe. And believe me, it's going to be easy when Sir Alex teaches it. Okay? Okay. Till then, bye-bye.